Odds. Now hopefully you've seen odds before, and you may not have. It's not that big a deal if you haven't. They're fairly easy to understand. What they are is a ratio. A ratio just is another word for fraction. And the way I'm going to write the fraction is I'm probably going to use the colon, which is what your book and most books use. So we'll use a colon. So it's the ratio of desired outcomes to undesired outcomes. So I could write that as, makes me mad when that happens. Does that make you mad? It makes me mad. It's the desired to the undesired. Or wins the losses. Or successes to failures. So I'm just using a colon to represent that. To represent odds. Now odds again just reverses those. It'll be failures to successes, losses to wins, or undesired to desired. So let's do a few examples. Find the odds of rolling a 5 with one roll of a standard die. With one roll of a die, you can roll 1, a 2, a 3, a 4, a 5, or 6, because a standard die has 6 sides. So the odds of a 5, well, how many ways can you roll a 5? Well, there's 1. And how many ways can you not roll a 5? So let me write that out then, so you can make sense of this. So it's rolling a 5 to not a 5. That's a good, easy way to think about it. So how many ways can you roll a 5? Well, there's just this one way. That's 1. And then how many ways can you not roll a 5? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 5. So you have 1 to 5 odds of rolling a 5. And then it's 5 to 1 against rolling the 5. So let me write that out. Odds against a 5 will be 5 to 1. See how that reverses? Now let's do the odds of drawing an ace from a standard deck of cards. Well, how many aces are there in a standard deck of cards? Well, there's 4 aces. And since there are 52 cards total in a standard deck, 52 minus 4 is 48 other cards. So the odds of an ace would be 4 to 48. And then just like if I were to think it was a fraction, 4 over 48, that reduces. If I divide top and bottom by 4, I get 1 over 12. So same thing here. 4 divides in 4 one time, 4 divides in 48 12 times. So the best answer is 1 to 12. If you think about it per suit, that makes sense because there's 1 ace per suit and 12 other cards that aren't aces in the suit. Now, in this one, you want to find the odds you won't win the money. So select odds against. So it would be like lose versus win. Lose to win. So what's the percentage that you win or that you lose? Well, if you have 30% chance to win, 7% chance that you're going to lose. So in that case, the percentage chance of losing is 70, and versus or to the 30% chance of winning. And just like the fraction, both those are divisible by 10, so it becomes 7 to 3. Not so bad. Now, here we have an example or a little statement that says if you're given the odds are A to B of something happening, of an event occurring, or A to B, then the probability, this is probability, which is a different question. probability of that event occurring is A over A plus B, which is the same as saying the desired plus the over the desired plus the undesired, because the desired plus the undesired is the total outcomes. Total number of outcomes. So let's do an example. Suppose the odds you win are 3 to 2. Find the probability that you win. So the odds that you win are 3 to 2. What that means is that's 3 wins and 2 losses. When you add those together, that's 5 total outcomes. See that? So when you want to find the probability that you win, you're going to take the wins over the total. And so, how many wins do we have? 3. Because this is given the odds that you win. So we have 3 wins over how many total? 5. So the probability is definitely a fraction. That's why I like to use probability or odds with a colon, because sometimes you have questions involving probability, and this will almost always be a fraction or a decimal. And it says to find the probability that you lose. So if you think about that, I can do that right here. Find the probability that you lose. How many ways can you lose? Well, there's 2 losses. Out of how many total? 5. So it's 2 out of 5. Now watch this question. Suppose the probability you win is 7 to 9. So the probability that you win is 7 over 9. Now keep this in mind. That means 7 wins. Now this 9 is the total. And what does the total consist of? Well, we know it has 7 wins. Got that? But how many losses are there? Well, if you take the total, which is 9, and subtract the 7 wins, that means you're going to have 2 losses. So 7 wins and 2 losses. So the question is find the odds you win. Remember, it's going to be wins. I'm not using that. I'm using colons for the odds. So it's going to be wins to losses. So how many wins are there? 7. How many losses? 2. So it's 7 to 2 odds. So what's the odds you lose? So it's going to be losses to wins. I'm just going to reverse it. 2 losses to 7 wins. And that's odds and probability together.